Hello, in this video we learn about exception in Java programming. I'm going to cover the topic like what is that object hierarchy in Java programming for exception. Like object class is base class of all class also. Then we have a throwable exception, IO exceptions, SQL exception. Inside IO exception we have UAF exception, file not found exceptions. In runtime exception we have a null pointer exception, arithmetic exception, and in error category we have virtual machine error and assertion. So in a diagram we will see that the object is a top on. After that we have a throwable, then exception, then error. So in error is a like virtual machine error, assertion error, or runtime exception, null pointer exceptions. These are the unchecked exceptions, and that will be occur at the time of runtime, whereas exception like IO exception, SQL exception, arithmetic exceptions, all these are the part of checked exception. So that will be occur at the time of compile time itself. And checked exceptions are all exceptions are checked exceptions except for those indicated by error and runtime exception are their subclasses. Unchecked exceptions are those error and runtime exceptions are called also collectively known as unchecked exceptions. That is a definitions of a checked and unchecked. We have a example over here for like in checked exceptions and unchecked exception with a try, catch, and finally block. And we have a bucket example. So for these ones we'll see that like in at the time of example I'll come and I'll explain in that time. So before going this video, preparing the video, we need like an you have to install that in Eclipse in your system. One operating system is required along with a JDK installations. I have already installed the JDK, and the JDK version is 1.7.0_25, and Java is a same version. I have already installed that Eclipse, and I have already launched it, even though I have created the project as well as a Java project, but no worry about that. I'll go ahead from scratch. So now I'm going to create a Java project, or I'll follow the step. You have to do that a similar step. So after opening the Eclipse, just go to File, New, Java Project. Type the project name as exception -in -java -programming. Then click next, then finish. After the finish, the directory structure will be look like src and gre system library. So after this you have to create that one class called like in check exceptions or uncheck exceptions, or this one. So I'll first go with checked exceptions and we'll see. So creating the checked exceptions compile time Java file, you have to just right click over src, go to new, then you have to choose the class. You have to type that name of a package is a com.exception.tutorial by example, and in the name of the class you have to type that like a checked exception compile time .java. It will take by default. You have to select public static void main string arg and then click on finish. After finish, these kinds of a class will be created except highlighted one. you have to copy and paste this highlighted one from my website, or type it if you can. I'm a little bit lazy, so I have just copy and paste over here. So in this code we have to type, and it will work for a checked exception, or we can say that compile time. As of now my program is compiling perfectly. Reason while I have already handled that exception, so I'll make a checked exceptions valid. So I just comment that my try statement, try catch yearly return. Okay, so now okay, this is required comment section. So what we are getting, this is the compile time, because Eclipse is trying to compile this Java file, and it's saying that unhandled exceptions type file not found exception. So in this class if you'll see that in constructor is itself, while it's saying that this kinds of a message, because it's saying that unhandled, we have to handle it. First one. Second, we are getting that in read method it's saying that unhandled exceptions for IO exceptions is required for that. It's because unable to read and write anything. And close is also required for IO exceptions. We'll go in first this one, why it's saying that. So if we'll go to the file input stream, in that method it's saying that it's throws, it's throwing that throwing that file not found exception. So we have to in try catch block also we have to handle it, or we have to throw it, otherwise it will be not compile that or like Java file. This is the first way. For second, we have to go to that read method of that. So read method is also calling that IO exception. Again we have to handle this one, and this is the read method, native read method that is written in some other language like apart from Java. So again we have to handle that IO exceptions as well. So earlier what I have did that first I handle that file not found exception for this one, and second I did that for read and close IO exception, and due to that it got compiled. Now we have another alternative as well apart from try catch. It's saying that add throws declarations or surround with a try catch. So there is a two way we can handle this scenario like checks exceptions. So try catch already there in earlier code. I'll just go to add that throws. So adding itself throws, it's already added file not found exceptions, but still one more is there, unheld IO exceptions. If I'll go and handle that also throws statement IO exception, so now everything is covered in that IO exceptions, because file not found is a part of IO exceptions itself. And but still we are getting in calling method over here. It's saying also we have to handle. So in declarations also we have declared it. Now the program got compiled, and if we'll run it will be give that some output as well. So still we are getting that system cannot find the file specific, because file not found. In C tutorial this file is not there in the C directory, and due to that we got this error, like exceptions not error. So I'm sorry for that. So this is that one way to doing that throws keyword with a respective. And one more thing, so okay, first way, and second we have to remove over here, and second way we'll go through that try catch. So I'll remove that earlier written code, format it. So what happen if the file not found exceptions will become, this is for file not found exceptions, and IO exceptions is for read and close. So both two read and close method is covering IO exception, and file not found covering a file not found. And in calling method now not required, If we'll run it again, we'll get that now we are getting that get method, something like that, because it's already handled, that exceptions is already handled, and we are getting this one's inside main method. This is nothing but it's printing this one's print method, and one more inside that main method. So this is all about. Okay, so now we'll see that a big bucket and a small bucket. We have a big bucket exceptions in class is a like a base class, whereas we'll see in big bucket and a small bucket, or a small bucket and big bucket over here in this example itself. So file not found is a like a subclass, whereas IO exceptions is a superclass. If I put this one in top, then the file not found exceptions will not come, because this IO exceptions itself, it will handle that, and this statement will not execute. Like we can say that if we put after IO exceptions, that is a unused, which is already described in the first this section. So what we have to do, we have to put file not found exceptions over here, then IO exception. So in before IO we have to put that one top, like a file not found exceptions, then IO exception. So this is all about checked exception. We'll see unchecked exception. So in unchecked exception, what we have, this is a runtime, and it will be occur at the time of executions of a program. So for this I have just created one class called unchecked exception or runtime, and this is nothing but constructor, and one method print is there with a void and a public modifier, and there is a three variable is there: int a value of 10, b is equal to 0, and c is equal to nothing, just initiated with a default value. Now I'm doing that c equal to a divided by b. So a have a 10, b have a 0, so it will come divided by 0, arithmetic exception. So arithmetic exceptions I know, and I just handle it. After that I'm handling the exceptions. If apart from arithmetic exceptions will be occur, then exceptions will be take care about that. So if I'll run that applications now by run Java, then we are getting that divided by 0, and it's a handle. Now this is the one way with a try catch only. We'll add that a try catch and finally all together, and we'll see that a finally block along with exceptions handling. So first method as it is similar, nothing, no change. In second one I have just printed that added that finally block in the first step. I'm printing that inside finally, and second I have just created one more method, print exit, which once I have that system.exit statement. So I'm just going to discuss more about finally in this one. So finally block are those block in exceptions criteria which is always execute. There is only one exceptions conditions is there, whereas a system.exit, then it will not execute. Otherwise every time it will be execute in the finally block will be execute. So over here just will delocate the memory allocated for particular object, closing that, like if any like a database connectivity results, set file and all. So that will become under that finally block. So we have to release that memory allocated in that particular object or reference. So in that is only one system that exits scenario, because with help of this the JVM will be the virtual machines will be killed and nothing will be there. So in that scenario only it will not there. So just I'm printing that inside finally and inside print exit finally. So as of now we'll get that only one output inside finally with divided by 0. If I comment this one, then we'll get that 2 time inside finally, print finally as well. Inside finally, this is result, and this is inside print finally exit as well, because even the return statement also it's returning from this try block, and but the finally will be executing even though. So this is all about try catch, throws, and finally along with the checked and checked exceptions. So in recap, we learn how big bucket and a small bucket will be like. We have to write that is a best priorities. We have to write that subclass first, then base, then base, then base. For example, we have a object, throwable, exceptions, and okay. So now we'll see that little bit more about that throwable. So exceptions, if we'll go in exceptions class, in diagram I have clearly mentioned that like in exceptions is a base class, subclass of a throwable. So if you'll see that I have just gone in the exceptions class extends throwable, and in throwable if you'll go, it will be implementing the serializable, that is a different thing. And in throwable, if you'll go to that all definition, you'll find that there is a two class will be there. One is a error and second one is a exceptions. Instance of a two subclass like error and exceptions are conventionally used to indicate the exceptional situations have occur typically and something like that, blah blah blah. You will be see that in all those details in over here. And by default object class will be there for all class. For example, if I'll go in exceptions, if type over here, you'll see that all like get class, all those things, wait, long to a string, print, and all, notify, all these are part of a object class. So we learned that a big bucket, a small bucket, checked exceptions, unchecked exceptions, try catch, and finally along with some exceptional conditions, we learned that how to handle exceptions occur, and it will be handled with a unhandled like check exceptions. We are getting that unhandled check exceptions, I exceptions, and unhandled exceptions type file not found and all. So this is all about in brief of exceptions in Java programming. Hoping you have enjoyed while watching my video. Please like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe.